little birdie told me that you almost got deported from Indonesia.
Yeah.
Tell us that
I sort of did, actually. So fast forward a little bit to actually it was my first year back racing. So it was 2016,
Right.
the end of 2016, like November, December.
So about like 10 months of proper racing.
Yeah, sort of deal. So I was back and a mate of mine's like, hey, I know it's a bit early or whatever, but I got this opportunity. We can go to Indonesia and race. And I was like, sweet, get to go race a dirt bike overseas. And he's like, you get paid and everything. That was going to be my first ever time getting paid riding a dirt bike.
Right.
So I was like, hell yeah. Like,
of course you'd be up
let's
for
go.
it.
I'm a proper racer now. Like,
I'm a real pro. Yeah.
It took a bit of convincing to get me over there because they just wanted my mate.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't want to go on his own because later on I found out that he screwed him over another time and was scared to go over on his own. But that was another story. Anyway, he got us, he showed him my YouTube video and stuff of me coming back from injury and they were like, oh, it's a cool story. We'll get him over here.
Awesome. That's cool.
Didn't expect me to be as quick as I was, I don't think. And ended up, I was leading most of the championship and it was all good. And we went back over because we go over per round.
Okay.
Went back over and in between a couple of the races, instead of going home, I got an offer like, oh, come to Tanjung Penang, which is like another island close to Singapore.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, we'll pay for you. I'll give you this start money, everything, and you come over and race my local race. It was not going to be as big.
Yeah.
And the guy just loved dirt bikes. He just wanted me to go there. I was like, sweet. So my mate went home. He didn't do it.
Right.
I went on my own, went to this, didn't know anyone, just
cleaned up this race.
Just went over and obviously because it was a bit of a local race, you had your local heroes. But then I was always probably going to be a step above. Right. Just because of my experience, where I come from, all that sort of thing. But apparently the locals didn't like that.
Yeah. Well, they want this white guy coming in and then smashing them on their track.
Yeah, so I sort of went and did like this practice thing and dominated. Yeah. And then it was come obvious that I was going to win. All this hype was around me. And I had like it was the governor of that island or whatever, come and met me and it was in the paper and whatever.
Yeah,
and
wow.
It was all pretty cool and
Indonesian famous.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we were driving to the track to go practice or something and he's like, oh, we just got to make a stop. And I was like, okay. He's like, oh, we've got to do some immigration stuff. I was like, oh, sweet. And it was like, he was being a bit weird because this guy talks to me pretty normal, really. He's got good English and everything. Yeah. And then we got up, went into this room, some dudes in there with machine guns and stuff. And I was like,
you're what?
Yeah. And I was like, this is pretty gnarly. And I was like, oh, it just must be normal around here. And then he sat me down in front of this other guy and he sort of stood back and the guy was not even talking English at all and was just like talking to me. I was like, I can't respond. I don't know what you're on about. And then the guy who was driving me around and him sort of started getting into it a bit. There was a bit of yelling going on. And then all of a sudden the guy just stands up and then the guy called me. He's like, oh, yep, we're going now. Like, what the hell was that about? I was like, I had no idea what just happened.
Did I just get sold?
Yeah. I was texting my girlfriend and I was like, this is what's going on. I have no idea what's happening. If you don't hear from me, like, let me, like. Yeah. And anyway, we got out of there and he's like, oh, we're not going to the track now. We just got to go do something. I was like, oh, all right. What are we doing?
Were you freaking out?
He wouldn't tell me. Yeah. I was proper freaking out. And then we went to this dodgy little docking thing like near the ocean. Yeah. And he's like, okay, you go with my friend. He gave me to some other Indonesian fella. He's like, oh, you have to leave. And I was like, what do you mean after? He's like, you got to leave the country. So we can't have people coming to get you or something. And I was like, what? I was just so like just confused and just crapping myself basically. And I was like, all right, well, if I got to go, I got to go. Chuck me on this rusty old boat. Like it was a decent sized boat. Yeah. But it was like this rusty old sketchy looking thing.
400 years ago.
Just cruising the ocean. I was like, I'm definitely going to die.
Was it you and just one person driving?
No, there was a bunch of people in there.
So it was a group. Okay.
Yeah, it was a whole heap of people already on the boat and stuff. And then turned out we ended up in Singapore. Okay. And then went through this dodgy little office, people yelling again, there was guns and stuff. And then I got a message from him. He said, go hang out in Singapore for the day. So I got through somehow. Yep. Cruised around country and then he's like, okay, you have to come back now. Went completely all through the same stuff.
Yeah, you're
And it's like
kidding.
these guys yelling at me again with
Holy
guns and
fuck.
everything. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. And then left. Once we got back into Tanjung Penang, all of it went down, got out of there, and he's like, okay, we're good now. And that was it. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
it was all in one day too.
Yeah.
Over, back, all this. And I was just like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
It's like, get me home. He's like, no, you still got to race.
Fuck that.
And I was like, I'm not racing. What do you, like, these people are not happy. He's like, no, it's good now. It's good now. And I didn't know what to do. So I just did what he said, because I was like, he got me out of it, obviously.
Yeah.
I went, I raced, except I won the first race, and the next one he's like, hey, let's make it a race the next time. So you got to go slow. And he's like, you got to, and I was like, I just did anything he said. I like did photos with everyone, and then
Your life's in
got
this
out of
bloke's
there.
hands for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Man, he invited me back a couple of years ago. I was like, there is not a chance in hell I'm going back. Because, like, obviously,
Your face would be on posters and shit over there, I reckon.
yeah. And I still don't really know what it's about and how it all happened. But obviously, it's corrupt and stuff over there, and it's. Yeah, I'm assuming he paid him off or something, but I don't have answers, and he never told me. And I was like, what was I actually in trouble for? But I guess I wasn't probably meant to be getting paid and whatever. I don't know.
Again, I think it's just a white guy winning these Indonesian blokes races, and a few people probably weren't too happy about it, and the government wanting their cut of who fucking knows.
Yeah, so it's like a cool story now.
Yeah.
It's like you look back and you're like, how dumb are you? Like to even go to this place that you don't know anyone.
When they said spend a day in Singapore, and then the bloke's like, yeah, come back. Fuck that, I'm coming back. I'm flying home. How do you do that?
Yeah, but I had a guy with me the whole time.
Yeah,
and he's just like, no, you're coming with me. And I was like, yeah.
Dude.
He was like, you look back now and you're like, I cannot believe that happened. It's a cool story, but you're like, man, that was dumb.
Man.